Way up on a hill overlooking the whole of Barcelona, there's this grand palace. But, it's not for royalty. It's actually home to 1,000 years of Catalan art. So today, we're going to go inside the Museu Nacional d'Art de Catalunya, the MNAC, and uncover this incredible story of daring rescues, artistic revolutions, and really, the soul of a nation, all captured on canvas and stone.
So to really get a feel for just how special this museum is, you have to hear this quote from the art historian Robert Hughes. He's not just saying it's a good museum, he's putting it on the same level as Venice or Ravenna, basically calling it the world capital for mural art. Now that's a huge claim, and trust me, by the end of this, you'll totally get why he said it.
All right, so before we even get to the art itself, we got to talk about the building that holds it all. I mean, it is a literal palace, and its story is just as grand as its architecture. Just picture this. You're standing on Montjuïc Hill, and the whole city of Barcelona is just laid out right in front of you. The Palau Nacional, it doesn't just sit there, it completely commands the view. It's a statement piece for the city, a cultural beacon you can see from miles away. You know the most surprising thing about this incredible palace? It was never meant to be permanent. It was built as the spectacular centerpiece for the 1929 World's Fair, designed to wow the world for just a couple of months. But it was just so grand, so undeniable, that it became a permanent icon. And the scale of this place is just staggering. We're talking 50,000 square meters. To put that in perspective, that's like 10 football fields. It's this immense space, and it's crowned by this giant dome that was modeled after St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican. It really makes you feel like you're walking into a cathedral of art.
Okay, so let's move from the palace itself to the treasures it was basically destined to protect. This next part, it's the heart and soul of the museum's collection. And it's not a story about buying art. It's this dramatic tale of a rescue mission against time.
And let me be perfectly clear about this. When it comes to Romanesque murals, no other museum in the world even comes close. This collection isn't just important. It is the global benchmark. It's the reason art lovers and historians make a pilgrimage to this very spot.
Which is a totally fair question, right? These ancient, super fragile artworks were made for these tiny, remote churches way up in the Pyrenean Mountains. Their journey from those quiet chapels to this grand palace, well, it's an absolutely incredible story of discovery, danger, and just pure daring.
So here's how this unbelievable plan went down. In the early 1900s, these priceless frescoes were either just decaying in damp churches or, worse, being chipped off the walls and sold to foreign collectors. So, a team of experts launched a mission. Using this painstaking Italian technique called strappo, they literally glued canvas to the murals and peeled the thin layer of paint right off the plaster. Then they hauled these massive, fragile masterpieces down from the mountains and reinstalled them on perfect replicas inside the museum, saving them forever. Just amazing.
And the absolute crown jewel of that entire rescue is this, the Pantocrator from the apse of Saint-Clément de Taillot. I mean, just look at its bold lines, those intense colors. This was totally revolutionary for the 12th century. In fact, its raw power and honestly its surprisingly modern feel would go on to directly inspire 20th century masters, including Pablo Picasso himself. This is ancient art that feels completely timeless.
Now, while the Romanesque collection is the undisputed star of the show, the museum's journey doesn't stop there, not even close. From this incredible foundation, the MNAC takes you on a tour through pretty much every major chapter of Catalan art history, and it spans a full millennium. Next up, you step into the Gothic era. This was the time when the Crown of Aragon, led by Catalonia, was a huge power in the Mediterranean. And the art from this period totally reflects that power, that wealth, and that confidence. You're seeing these intricate gilded altarpieces and super expressive paintings from masters like Luis Dalmau, capturing the splendor of a culture at its absolute peak.
The journey keeps going as the political tides start to turn. As Catalonia's influence faded and Spain's golden age began, the art collection reflects that shift. Here, the focus widens to include European titans. The museum has these breathtaking masterpieces by El Greco, Velázquez, and Rubens, putting Catalan art into a much broader international conversation.
And finally, you arrive in the period that really defines modern Barcelona, modernism. This section just explodes with the creative energy of artists like Ramon Casas. And it's not just paintings. You can actually see furniture designed by the master architect Antoni Gaudí himself, stuff he made for famous buildings like the Casa Batlló. It's a total deep dive into the city's artistic soul.
So, Now that we've journeyed through the art inside its walls, let's circle back to the palace itself. Because while the collection tells a 1,000-year story, the building's own history of transformation is just as fascinating.
I mean, just look at this journey. It went from a temporary World's Fair pavilion in 1929 to becoming an official museum in 1934. It played a huge role in the 1992 Olympics, and it wasn't even until 2004 that the grand, fully renovated museum that we know today was completed. It has constantly evolved right along with the city it represents.
And that evolution is still happening today. That enormous oval hall, the Sala Oval, isn't just some grand entrance. It's one of Barcelona's top venues. It hosts everything from award ceremonies and concerts to major civic gatherings. It's a living, breathing part of the city's cultural life.
So, feeling inspired? You want to go see it for yourself? Let's quickly run through the essential info you'll need to plan your visit to this incredible palace of art.
Okay, here's everything you need to know at a glance. Standard admission is €12, and what's really cool is that your ticket is valid for 2 days. But listen, here's the pro tip. Admission is totally free every Saturday after 3 p.m. and on the first Sunday of every month. So, if you plan it right, you can see all of this for free.
So, to wrap it all up, what we have is a spectacular palace that started its life as a World's Fair exhibit. Inside, you'll find the world's #1 collection of Romanesque art, which was saved by a ridiculously daring rescue mission. It's a journey through 1,000 years of history and, really, a non-negotiable stop for anyone who loves art or just wants to understand the story of Catalonia.
And that kind of brings us to our final thought. A truly great museum does more than just show you old objects. It tells you a story. And the MNAC? It tells a story of deep roots up in the mountains, of power and influence in the Gothic age, and of explosive, world-changing creativity in the modern era. It's a story of a culture so determined to preserve its past that it literally moved mountains, or at least the art that was inside of them.